What's going on, guys? So I wanted to share something cool with you guys. Hopefully some of you know that I work at an exotic car rental company. Now, besides YouTube, I also do this, and something really cool that I was able to do is get them to actually accept cryptocurrency. So as you guys can see, you can basically drive your dream car, as simple as this. Obviously, you can call or go on to c9e.com, call this number if you want to rent a car of your dreams, which is pretty cool. But like I said, I try to push real world adoption of cryptocurrency, and hopefully you guys get where I'm going at. Obviously, you can see what they offer. Different music video specials if you wanted to do that, why to choose C9E, Cloud9 Exotics, and then as well as basically what you need to do to rent. And you can see the coolest thing right here is the fact that I got them to start accepting Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum and cryptocurrencies as a means of payment. So not only cash or credit cards, but you can actually use Bitcoin and Litecoin to accept cryptocurrency. Pretty awesome. Definitely make sure to check them out. Stop by. We also have Velocity, which is a way for you guys to actually just drive the cars without renting them. It's much cheaper. It's really cool, as you guys can see here. Crazy cool experiences. It's as low as $49, so I highly recommend you check them out. But yeah, thought I would share that with you guys because I think it's pretty awesome in the fact that they accept Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum as cryptocurrency payments.
What's going on, YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. Hopefully you like that introduction in regards to where I work accepting crypto. Otherwise, I just want to jump into today's episodes talking about Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP, Ethereum, basically breaking out to levels we have really not seen in quite some time now. You guys can see a massive explosion within this consolidation right here, shooting us up to major highs as high as over $8,000, $8,182. Massive highs. I kind of want to talk about why this explosion happened, as well as where we could pretty much be expecting to see the market move towards as of right now, because this is pretty crazy. This is interesting, and this may be the bottom for cryptocurrency, and we may actually start to see consolidation upwards. But I want to give you guys my approach. I'm going to give you two possibilities of where we could be going, whether or not we're going to head lower, head higher, up to you guys. We're also going to be looking at some other cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin, because we do know that these coins aren't really moving that much. As for XRP, kind of just consolidating and falling back down. But otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and let's jump into today's episode. So guys, I kind of want to show you guys the current coin market cap. You can see a couple of interesting things. Top 10 cryptocurrencies all seem to be in green, except for XRP, which is correcting lower, as well as Ethereum, which really isn't seeing much movement at all as of right now. But you can see there's a very gradual uptrend on all the different cryptocurrencies, heading us up higher and higher and higher into what appears to be a potentially new bull market. Some pretty crazy stuff to discuss with you guys. And now, without further ado, I just want to dive right into the technical analysis, looking at Bitcoin, looking at XRP, figuring out what exactly is happening. So I'm going to spend a little bit on XRP, then dive into Bitcoin, because I know those are of quite a bit of value to you, and that's kind of what you're here on the channel for. But notice that within XRP's little jump that we've had right now, it's really kind of meaningless, and I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but it's merely just a small little dip to the upside compared to the bigger picture of the major correction and major descending triangle that's forming on the coin. You can see we've retested the white resistance band numerous times, and then we immediately correct lower. You can see once again kind of what exactly is happening. Last time we retested, you can see we had some sort of ascending triangle forming. We retested the white resistance, and we broke bearish and fell all the way back down to 18 cents, if not all the way down to 17 cents. You can see very similar. We're coming slightly back up to retest once again that white resistance, and now we are currently correcting even lower, probably going right back down to where we started from, which is around the 19-cent level. And then we could ultimately even see a 16-cent retestment before we see any sort of correction and breakout to the upside. Now, I do just want to spend most of my time on Bitcoin, discussing the interesting Bitcoin charts and the interesting patterns that we're starting to notice. So obviously, the past couple of days, we've been tracking Bitcoin. I had a short position open on DueDEX, which did get liquidated. That is honestly how we play the game. I can't be right 100% of the times, and I have to move on and learn from these mistakes, and we'll figure out. Hopefully, though, you guys lucked out and saw the run and did invest and make quite a bit of money. That's obviously what I'm hoping for. Hopefully, you guys took advantage of that. But I do want to spend a bit of time discussing the interesting pattern here, because this was a hit or miss, and yes, it was fairly my fault for continuing this, because we did see the correction to the downside. I ultimately was expecting whatever this retracement was, this middle median area, to break bearish and break to the downside, and you can see right over here I actually bought in and I shorted all the way here, and I actually sold right down here and made quite a bit of money. But then I ultimately bought back in expecting us to head lower, and obviously we corrected all the way back to the upside, so I missed out on that, which is unfortunate. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about in today's episode, because I do think this was ultimately the biggest correction slash retracement to the retracement possibility that we've seen in about 6 months now. So you'll notice since June, we had June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. We've had like June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Almost like 8 months now of just consolidation. July, August, September, October, November, December, and now January. So we've had around 8 months now of just correction, retracement in this bearish fractal heading lower. What was interesting and something that we caught close attention to was this uptrend right here that started all the way back in the beginning of 2019. Basically, the end of January was where it started from. You can see we had the small uptrend, which eventually broke bullish as we got intertwined with the high-low MMA, and then we exploded up until about mid-year, and then we started to crack lower. Now, here's the very interesting pattern in regards to where we could be moving forward to. So obviously you guys can see as clear as day, we've broken above the white resistance in this bearish fractal numerous times. 1, 2, 3, we've had 4, 5, and now this could be the 6th time where we've seen the price break above here and then immediately correct lower, immediately correct lower, and immediately correct lower. Every single time we retest the high-low MMA, we break below it and we break bearish. That's kind of what's happening right here. So there's a very high chance this is about the highest this coin can go without immediately correcting back to the downside. There's a very high chance that we are going to do that with a few reasons. Not only are we retesting overbought on the daily, but you can see on the 4 hour, we are extremely overbought. We are now trading at 77 on the RSI, which is very overextended, and we do need to see some sort of consolidation back down. Now, obviously, there is still chance that we could be entering what appears to be another bull market or the start to a new bull market, mainly because of the fact that we do have this uptrend. And you can see what we haven't had in a very long time was a new high. You can see we've set a high higher than the previous low, or we're having higher lows, if that makes sense. So each low now is higher than the previous one, which could ultimately send this coin back to the upside. This may be the correction. This may be the retracement that we needed back to the upside, sparking us into 2020, moving back up to higher levels. But we also have to play the devil's advocate and consider that this may be another fluke and we may see another correction to the downside. Obviously, we could make plenty of money off of this movement right here. Hopefully you guys did. But take into consideration, we've had these movements in the past. Here and here and here and here. And if you notice the way the coin is kind of trending, you can see with this uptrend, the long-term uptrend, it looks like very possibly that we could be correcting back down. Another thing to consider is we really have not been trending above here for that long. You can see in the past, every time we actually break below the high-low MMA, we stay below it for a very long time, and we don't ultimately break through it. You can see back here, we did have the time when we were trending above here on the daily, and then we eventually broke below it, and we could not, for the life of us, get back upside of here. Then you could see the same thing happen where we had the reversal, and the price broke above the high-low MMA, and then we immediately corrected. At the same time, you can see that correction right here. We have not been able to break through that. We've only had 2 now correction or retestments of the high-low MMA, and you can see in the past where we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 6 corrections and retestments of the high-low MMA. There's a very good chance this could also be that same thing happening, and then we could break once again back inside of the bearish fractal and head even lower back down to eventually be retesting this bottom white uptrend, which you can see right here, pushing us down to like $5,300. So we really have to see whether or not this bear market is over for right now. Obviously, there are some good signs. The fact that we're actually seeing a higher low than the previous one is huge. You know, this is a huge thing that we did discuss. And the fact is that if this continues to hold and we can continue to use this white uptrend as a support, there's a very high chance we can continue to head higher up. Not only that, but we broke through a purple resistance, which is huge, and we broke through the the white uptrend, which is also a huge factor. With these two things in play, we should be using this as a support, and we could ultimately extend this thing out ever so slightly. So we're ultimately waiting for a correction and a retestment of this white uptrend right here. Whether or not we break bearish, there's a very high chance we're going to be correcting back down. The fact is that we did just retest the high-low MMA and we're overbought on practically all the cryptos. So there's a very high chance we're going to swing back down here. Obviously, you can take advantage of that with DueDEX. Honestly, there's a good chance I'm going to do that and then set up a stop loss, because I know a ton of you guys have been telling me to do so and to make stop losses. So honestly, I think I'm going to take your advice, and the next trade that I put out is going to have a stop loss just to cover my ass in case we do. And honestly, as you guys know, I'm no trained professional, trained technical analysis. I'm merely just telling you guys my way of trading and whether or not you guys want to follow this. Most of the time, I do seem to be getting it correct, but honestly, in the market that we're in right now, as coming into 2020, there's obviously those slight chances that I could be wrong as well. But taking into consideration, we still are setting, higher lows every single time. Or lower highs. I always get that confused. We're setting lower highs still. This is a lower high. This is a lower high. This is a lower high, lower high, lower high, and this is once again a lower high. So that's something you also have to pay attention to, is in the fact that we didn't actually break out. We're still in a downtrend. This is still a bearish fractal. It's the fact that each of these is a lower high right here, 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 and then you can consider this to be one as well. No, I wouldn't. Lower high once again. Here's another one. We could see another one back down to 5,900, but ultimately you guys can notice every single time we set lower highs. So this is still considered a bear flag. This is still considered a bearish movement, and that's ultimately what I want you guys to be aware of. Now, did we break into a new market, a new bull market? It's possible, but you do have to just take into consideration that we are still setting lower highs, and that is still something you guys have to be prepared with. The only difference in factor is in the fact that we did set a higher low, which is honestly great. But in regards to the fact that we do have this uptrend here too, that we're probably going to retest both of these, and there's still a very high chance that we could just come crashing down and correct even lower, which we have in the past. Notice every time we did that, we ultimately just crashed. And this happened over here, and there's a very high chance, very similar to what we saw in the past, that this could ultimately come crashing down as well. Otherwise, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.